Welcome to Action Coaching. Certainly we're delighted that you join us on today because we believe that God has another special coaching for yourself. Now remember, the goal of Action Coaching is to coach the God-given potential out of you so that you can live your best life now. Everyone needs a coach in their life, and that's why God has given us a time of action coaching. I want you to share with your friends and neighbors and let them know that action coaching is on each and every week and they need to be a part of it. Now trust me, we cannot deal with everything during this short time that we have together, but we're trying to give you some high points, some starting points so that you can move on to continue to develop yourself. I would love to hear from you as to topics that you would like to hear, or things that you would like for me to get more in depth in action coaching, and I would love to talk about them. This week we're going to talk about, from the topic, focus on yourself. Now life is full of demands. Some demands that you have naturally so, then there are other demands that friends and people put upon you. And sometimes you can see people so busy trying to fulfill other people's demands that they don't take time to focus on themselves. Perhaps you've been in a situation like that. I've been in a situation like that. That sometimes you can be so overwhelmed with the needs and the desires of others that you fail to take care of yourself. You fail to focus on yourself. And when you sit down, you'll say, well, I've done all of this for everybody else, but nothing seems to be working for me. Now that basically means that you have not spent time focusing on yourself. So we want to talk about on this week how that you can begin to focus on yourself. If you do not like the picture that you're seeing in the mirror, then you got to take steps to change it. There's so many things as an individual sometimes we don't like, but what are we doing about it? We got to take steps to change it. You can't be in the mirror trying to conform to everybody else's image of you and not find out what your own image is in life. What are you supposed to do? Who are you supposed to be? Most of the time, if you ask people who they are, they'll tell you what job they work on, and you are not your job. You're somebody totally different. So how does one begin the process of focusing on themselves? How do you change the person in the mirror? If there's certain things you don't like about the person in the mirror, how do you go about changing? I don't care whether it's physically, spiritually, mentally, whatever it is, there's steps that you got to take priority and begin to focus on yourself. Now, point number one, I don't care how busy your week is or your day is or all of the things that you think you have to do, you need to mark out some time that you just focus on yourself. Do some reading and some studying about the things you want to improve about you. Or maybe there's a place you got to go to see it in action, so to help encourage you to continue to put the action in to change things about you. That somebody's got to take time out of their very busy schedule focusing on others to focus on you. I have a time where I focus on me. Yes, I don't let anybody else invade that space. When I'm focusing on me, then I got a place, I got a time where I go and I talk to me. And I decide the things I want to change about me, or the things I will and will not take, or the things that I won't necessarily do every day. You have to do that because you can get caught up in an endless cycle and you never get an opportunity to focus on yourself. So that's the first step. You got to mark out some time where it's just you, yourself, and you talk some time with God so you can focus on yourself. Because trust me, you've seen so many people end up in the hospital or end up pretty much losing their mind because they try and do everything else that everybody else wants them to do, and they are not focused on themselves. Step number 2. Now, you got to understand, you can only control what you can control. You're not the all-world savior for everybody. The one thing you can control is yourself and how yourself is going to react, because that is necessary for your success. Because a lot of times you can say, I'm going to do this, and then one side of your mind say, I'm not really ready to do this, or I didn't want to do this, but because somebody's asking me or putting pressure on me to do it, I just yield to it. That means you got to focus on yourself, and you've got to be stronger. You find that all of the highly successful people in life have a great deal of focus on not only themselves, but whatever they're endeavoring to do. And it's about time that you begin to focus on yourself. Because a lot of times in life, we want to blame others for the different flaws and the different things that we run into. But most of the time, if you look in the mirror, you're going to have to blame the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror that you talk yourself into this particular mess. Now, changing yourself, making yourself better, improving. There's always room to improve. There's always room to make yourself better if you focus on yourself. What are your personal goals that you've outlined for you? I asked an individual once, and I asked them this question. I said, where do you see yourself in 4 years? Well, let me see. I hadn't really thought about it. Or maybe that's something I need to look at. And you know what's going to happen? 4 years later, they're going to be in the same predicament, and they're going to be frustrated because they have not focused on themselves. They have not focused changing the person in the mirror. I don't care whether it's an athlete, star, or whatever. If you want success out of something, you got to focus on yourself. You got to have yourself prepared to do the necessary things that it takes to be successful. You got to have the focus that it takes to pull you away from bad influence. Sometimes you're hanging out with the wrong people. They keep you off focus. A lot of times you have to look for people who have the same focus as you to keep you focused. So you have to focus on yourself. Focus, focus, focus on yourself. Now, understand this. Thirdly is, when you focus on yourself, do not lie to yourself. Most people make the mistake of lying to themselves about themselves. You know, you interject other people. I'm so mad because I interacted with this people today. No, you're so mad because you just mad. You're slowpoke because, well, everybody else don't get there on time. That ain't got nothing to do with you. What are you doing about yourself? Everybody else don't work as hard as me. That still ain't got nothing to do with you. What are you doing about it? Are you focused on yourself? Well, I don't look as good as the next person. There we go again. What are you doing about you? So many times, that's what happens when people don't focus on themselves. They start telling lies to their own self. You ever seen anybody that look in the mirror and say, well, I don't need to lose much weight, but the scale is telling them a different story. And then they go lying to themselves rather than just saying, what am I going to do about me? And that's what focus does. Focus is one of the keys to being successful in life. When I started my ministry journey, I understood that there were some people I had to let go. There were some things I had to let go because this was going to take focus. Now, I'll be back to talk to you in just a moment. But remember, focus on yourself. I left off talking about when I started my ministry journey. I understood that there were some people I had to let go, some places that I couldn't go anymore, some things that I had to get rid of, because if I wanted to improve the person in the mirror for the necessary tasks that that person in the mirror felt like he should have, then he had to focus on himself and focus on the things that were in my life that were not beneficial for my life. Haven't you ever been in a situation where you've been with a group of people or even with one person and you spend a whole lot of time being busy, but at the end of the day you look up and say, I have not achieved a thing. I have not focused enough on me to make any improvement in my life or anything that's beneficial for me. But I'm not that type of person. I want to hang around with people that challenge me to grow, that challenge me to strive to the next level, that challenge me to say, focus on yourself. It's not the reaction of others that's the problem. It's the reaction you have about yourself. So many times people will say, well, I have low self-esteem. Well, where do they get low self-esteem? Nobody's ever told me a number of what's low. You know, you say they have low self-esteem, but what's the number? Are your self-esteem 1 or -1 or below the scale on 1? What is it? But it's basically because somebody else told you weren't what you thought you were, but you hadn't had a conversation with the person in the mirror. You may be all that and more, but you got to focus on you. You want to be successful. You want to climb the places in life. One must focus on themselves. Why is that so important? Because all you got is you. All you got is your skill, your talent, your gifting, and if you don't focus on it, you'll never achieve anything. God made you so special that He broke the mold when He made it. There are no two people alike on this world. Now I know that sometimes people will have twins and triplets and all of that, but still, even though they may look alike and do some things alike, you can still pretty much tell one from the other by the different character traits that they have. So, you got to understand that focus helps develop you. Focus helps you evolve. Focus helps you turn into the individual that you were designed to be. Most of the time when I was going to school, they tell you to take classes that were not really something I was interested in. If maybe other people were interested in it, but I was not interested in it. And they tell me, well, you got to take this class. Well, I found out that when I started studying the things that fit me and had that hard question about me, then I began to grow and develop, because I realized that nobody can beat me being me. So I need to live out my whole life being me. That's called focus, ladies and gentlemen. And that is what every individual needs. A time that you focus on yourself. Get yourself together. There are challenges ahead of you. There are things that you got to do. There are things that you can accomplish. There are things that you can overcome. But you cannot do it without focus. Every single day of my life, there is a planned focus. There are things I've already decided I'm not going to do because it doesn't help to improve me. So I focus. Focus on the things that will improve me. Focus on the places that I go that will improve me. Haven't you seen it sometime when people will put on different clothes? They're putting different clothes on or different outfits thinking they're going to look like the individual that was wearing the outfit that they like. Well, first of all, your body ain't shaped like that. You don't look like that individual. Now, if you're going to buy the clothes, then you should buy them to focus on yourself. How are you going to look in that? And chances are you'll decide that this particular outfit is not for me, but I would look better in this outfit. That's called focusing on yourself. Now I want to issue a challenge to you on tonight. Hit me up on social media and let me know, Bishop, I'm focusing on myself in this area. Pray for me. I will pray for you, because the minute you get focused, the minute you're going to find out that so many things are changing in your life and so many things you're achieving in a greater way when you begin to focus on yourself. You just can't get up every day and be all over the place. You got to have some focus. Plan your day out. Plan what you're going to get accomplished. I do it. I focus. I plan. How many hours I'm going to sleep? What is my schedule going to be like? Because it's less chaotic when I focus and I know the things that I'm going to do. When I wake up with nothing on the agenda and no focus, trust me, there's enough people around me to give me focus on their agenda and not mine. But I have a focus. I have a plan every day, and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to let anything hinder my focus. So what is it that you're focused on about you on today? And from time to time, you need to have a talk with the person in the mirror. If you're angry all the time, you need to ask the person in the mirror, why are you so angry? If you're depressed all the time, you need to ask the person in the mirror, why are you so depressed? Maybe if you focus on yourself, you wouldn't have these things going on. Because a lot of times people are focused on things that got absolutely nothing to do with them, but got a whole lot to do with others. And basically, when it has things to do with others, you can't control everything. Now, I know some people think they can control everything, but nah, you ain't going to be able to control everything. What you can control is focusing on yourself, you can control you. You do have choices there. So I've talked a lot in this session about focusing on yourself. And it's time for you to get that clear focus. That focus is like putting a painting up or a picture and you the star of the show. And you need to have everything in that picture focused on you so you can stay focused on yourself. Not trying to live out somebody else's dream, but you're focused on yourself. And I would love to hear from you and say, I'm going to focus. So many people try to do so many things, and consequently, they're not real good at the so many things they do. However, you can focus on one thing, the thing that you can do well, and you can be very good at that particular task. And I've learned that you focus on what you're good at. You focus on what you can do, and you'll get a greater benefit and a greater joy out of life when you focus on yourself. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know the things that you're focusing on. Maybe you want me to talk some more about focusing on ourselves, and I trust that it will be a blessing to you. So make sure you reach out via social media to me here at Action Coaching and say, yes, help me. I want to focus more on myself. I want to have a more organized day. And you know the most important thing in any organized day is yourself. Because you ain't right, the rest of the day is going to be all messed up. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I've been through the experience, and I found out that when you're too focused on the demands of others, others are not as focused on your demands as you think they are. They're simply focused on their demands. And that's why I learned that there's a place you got to reach and meet, that you're focused on yourself. Focus, focus, focus is the key thing. I've certainly enjoyed talking to you on today, and I'll be right back to talk to you.
Tap somebody and say, I'm made for miracles. You know why God allowed things to happen to you? He wanted to teach you that there are about 5 people got it. He wanted to teach you that there are. So whatever the devil knock you back with, God said now's the time to show it. That he can't keep me there. Y'all ain't talking. Now is the time to let the devil know. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world.
Welcome back. I trust that you've enjoyed our topic on today, focusing on yourself. That's what you are going to do, to focus on you. I thank God for this teaching, and I trust that you were blessed on today. Before I go, I certainly want to encourage you to sit down and sow a generous faith seed for the support of Action Coaching. We want to make Action Coaching bigger and better, be able to do more creative things as a way of coaching you. Future, we're going to start bringing other guests on, and we're going to talk to them about different topics, and there's going to be so much happening. But I need your financial support, and I need you to reach out and help us here with Action Coaching. Now, there's a link in my bio that will give you a host of ways to sow seeds to Action Coaching, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you for your financial support. Thank you for tuning in to Action Coaching. And as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.